Yeah, I think recording is happening. Welcome everyone to the Gazpacho PTG for Cinder. We've still got probably a few that are going to join at some point, but we can certainly get started. A quick overview for the schedule today. There is a project, like across all projects, eventlet meeting in about 45 minutes. That's supposed to take about an hour, and they're going to be talking about eventlet and the removal of it from all the projects. I guess it will be a space for people to talk about the challenges that they've had, and it might be a good forum for us to at least listen and learn, or possibly ask questions and gain further insight into what it would take for us to be eventlet free. The deadline for this is this release, so the priority for eventlet removal is high for us. I know there's some changes to Oslo that need to be made that we are blocked on. I'm not sure if that's all of it, but hopefully we can get into it. So there'll be a across all projects meeting in 45, and then we can come back and discuss Cinder specific topics. Try to nail it down as best we can as a group before we embark upon the cycle. There is an Etherpad. It's on the PTG Open Dev site. In case you haven't seen it, I'll throw it into the comments on the meeting. It is there. Feel free to go there and add proposed topics, anything that you think is worthy of discussion this week. We're somewhat light on topics as compared to Flamingo, so there's definitely space. I allocated more time than we very probably need. It doesn't mean we have to use all of it, but we certainly have space. If you have something you think is worthy of discussion, or a topic that is you need input on, feel free to put it there in the Tuesday agenda, and I can move it around and put it to wherever it needs to be for the week. So we have 4 hours each day from Tuesday to Friday. The idea, I think, most of the topics will likely be today and tomorrow, with some NetApp related specific topics on Thursday, and some space for code reviews. And Friday at the moment is just wide open. So it is we may be able to use that for just a code review session, or going through maybe some patches that we didn't get a chance to get to in the last cycle. I know there are quite a few. My intent is to try to capture. We have several Etherpads that where people put review requests, and I'd like to try to collect all of them, so at least they don't fall through the cracks. Reviews are still very much a priority for this release. In terms of commits, I had the number in a note, but I can't recall it at the moment. But we are pretty close to our number of commits over the last cycle. So Flamingo was consistent with as compared to previous releases in terms of patches merged and reviews. And there's still a lot that we did not get to that are still waiting and in need of reviews. So I am aware that these things are still out there. I have not forgotten. Maybe now is a good time. We can just go around. You can say your name and what you're working on, or who you work for, and just so we get an overview of who's here, and for anyone joining later or watching recording. I will start. I'm John Bernard. I work for Red Hat, and I'm the PTO for the Gazpacho cycle. We can go in. I'll just go in reverse clockwise order. Brian, you're next to me on my chiclets of heads moving around. You can go next.
Okay, I'm Brian Rossmeda. I also work at Red Hat. I apologize for not shaving. I'm like going back and forth deciding whether I'm going to beard it or not beard it. And I'm kind of lazy. Yeah, I'm a Cinder core. I've been doing release management type stuff the past cycle or 2 or 3. I'd be happy to bring somebody else on board. It's you don't have to be a core. It's a good way to learn the process, to get involved with other people on the team and make a contribution, because it is important to be releasing stuff, and it helps the PTL out because it's good to have multiple people working on stuff all the time. So anyway, if anyone's interested in doing the release stuff for Cinder, let me know. I can talk you through what to do. You could even be like an apprentice for a cycle, so that you don't have to suddenly take it on and just try it out. But please let me know. Yeah, I guess I've been a Cinder core for a while. I guess we'll probably talk about doing reviews at some point. I like that I'm seeing a lot of people like doing reviews, which is great, but they could be much more helpful if you. Well, maybe should I say that now, or just I'm supposed to be introducing myself? I'm sorry. I'm a grumpy old man, basically. That's why I'm growing the beard. So I've got opinions on stuff. Anyway, welcome to the PTG. We'll be planning out what we're going to be doing for Gazpacho, and it'll be fun. Anyway, while you're here, it's always helpful to like open the Etherpad where the agenda is in a different window so you can take notes and stuff. If you're not comfortable, I know we conduct OpenStack business in English, and it's not everybody's first language and not everybody's comfortable. You can just type stuff into the Etherpad, type questions or comments, and somebody will see them and pick it up. And please scroll down to today where there's like the attendees thing, and just put your name so that you can leave a mark that you were here. I've gone way beyond introducing myself. So anyway, so my name's Brian. I'm Rossmeda in IRC. You'll see me around. If you got any questions, ping me. And please think seriously about becoming the Cinder release manager. All right. The person sitting next to me is Fernando. So Fernando, you can go next.
You're not audible.
Looks like you're muted, Fernando.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, you're just presenting ourselves like I just arrived. So, okay, so yeah, so I'm Fernando. I work for the at Red Hat. Currently focused on Cinder, and yeah, and I participated in a couple PTGs over the past years. Nice to have anyone to attend to anyone.
Welcome, Fernando. Just call out whoever is. I don't know if everyone sees the exact same view, but just someone that's next to you, call out the next person.
Okay. So let me call Luigi's.
Hello, I'm Luigi Toscano. I work in Red Hat as well. I'm doing quality stuff, mostly more internally in the last few months, years nowadays. Like QE stuff, quality stuff, and CI related stuff. And yeah, that's it. So round. I'm going to go.
But also, Luigi is core on the Cinder Tempest plugin.
Oh,
project.
right. Yes, I do. I do. And next one is Rajat.
Yeah, hi, I'm Rajat Dasmana. I'm also a Cinder core working at Red Hat. I'm based out of India. And yeah, as Brian said, I was at one point release manager and guided by Brian. So it's a really good opportunity to take up. Brian is a very great guide. So yeah, mostly I work upstream on reviews and commits. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I will nominate Eric.
Hi, Eric Harney. Cinder core, been working on Cinder at Red Hat for a while. I'm working on eventlet removal right now, but all kind of different things. And I guess I will pass it over to Anthony.
Hi, my name is Anthony Galika. I work for Hitachi Vantara, and me and my team are new in the last Flamingo cycle. We joined maybe like May-ish, I think. So yeah, so that's me. I'll nominate Dimitri.
Yep, Dmitry, current TC member, core of openstack-cinder, working in Pure as a cloud architect, doing some consulting, and now we're looking into Cinder backups basically, and as a way to adopt it for our needs a bit, and doing some multi stuff and whatever.
Excellent. Welcome, everyone. And to everyone watching it on watching the recording, welcome. And it's nice to have you working on the project. So I guess we can start with, we can just start with reviews, really. In terms of retrospective for Flamingo, I think fill in any gaps that you feel that I'm missing. But I think the largest thing that remains, really the two things. One is review bandwidth and getting these things turned around in a timely manner, and third-party CI, and not having consistent CI results, and being able to view those results and verify that it's actually testing the thing that the patch is proposing to change, and having some sense of confidence that we aren't introducing regressions and that we can make changes without unknowingly breaking things. This is the purpose of CI. And so over some cycles, this has eroded a bit, and so which is evident in just the number of direct requests for exceptions, and like posting of like one-off CI results for specific patches, which is fine in the moment, but it's not something I want to perpetuate long term. So there's going to be a focus on insisting on third-party CI actually reporting and running in the way that it is documented as it's supposed to be doing. Part of that is making sure that we have a good understanding of how to deploy CI, and what the issues are, and maybe what issues people are running into, because it's obviously, I don't think anyone has a broken CI because they aren't trying. I think the software factory deployment is probably complicated, and there's some other issues regarding company firewalls and other things that maybe it's possible that with some collaboration we can share some knowledge and improve the situation there. But at the moment we can I'd like to talk about reviews. We've got there's still there's a tremendous number of reviews in the total dashboard, but there's still quite a few reviews that we were hoping to get to in the last cycle that we haven't. And so without going into specifics, because that's something we can do later, I just want to talk about reviews in general, and it's just where we are in terms of the cores and how core works and how to become a core reviewer. And so we have a fairly small number of core reviewers, and there's really two ways that we can improve the review situation. We can have in terms of cores being able to finalize and approve patches. We could either increase the bandwidth for the cores that we have, which is very difficult because I know we all have significant workloads, or we can add cores to the team, and so hopefully some combination of the two is something we can arrive at. But in terms of becoming a core, I just wanted to address this directly because I don't think everyone understands what a core is and knows that if you do a lot of reviews, at some point it becomes possible to become core. Welcome, Erlan. Good to see you. It's been a while, man. So I just wanted to talk about the core process and essentially to be direct about it. Anyone can become a core. There's only a few requirements that are necessary, and so and to become a core, essentially, I just have to propose you as a core reviewing member. In order to do that, I need just a couple of things. I need consistent reviews over a period of time, and in addition to that, I need reasoning for your reviews. So not just +1s or -1s without explanation, or +1s looks good to me. It's helpful when you're establishing yourself as a trusted reviewer to explain why this should be merged or why it's not. What criteria you use to evaluate the patch, or what potentially like why it's bad, and try to go in depth as much as reasonable, so that I can see your thinking process. This is helpful to gain trust and to gain an understanding of what sort of metrics and thought process you're applying to the review. Once you've established yourself in the project, this isn't as important because it can always be queried at a later date. For instance, Walt has been a member of the project since forever, and so I don't really need a verbose explanation from him all of the time. And if I do need one, I can always go to him directly and ask. But in getting established, it's very helpful to post this reasoning. Just be very verbose about your thought process so that I can see sort of how the gears are turning. It helps me understand. It's also helpful to review things that are that apply to the project and not just maybe the specific driver for the company you happen to work for or something like this. It's helpful to increase the breadth of the things that you review so that it helps the project in general. It's important to gain knowledge in reviewing across those things, across the APIs, across the process management and the structure of Cinder, and some of these things instead of just a narrow lane. Any of these things are very helpful, and if you can show a consistent set of reviews across a period of time, then I have all the pieces I need to put together a proposal. And I'm happy to do that. It does not have to be a silent process. If it's something you're interested in, please reach out to me directly. I'll be happy to explain this in more detail. And if we need something specific or I need like just one more piece, I'm happy to explain it and explain like where the gap might be or what is needed in order to move someone towards being nominated for core. I think improving the number of core reviewers would probably be the most effective way to increase the bandwidth for the core team. I'll yield, and I know Brian's got some ideas, but any thoughts on this at all are much appreciated. Please weigh in if you have any.
I just put some links in the Etherpad to some of the documentation. I guess anyone interested in documentation, this is something you can get your managers to help with. We could use a review of our docs because it took me longer than I expected to find these things. So anyway, we can always use documentation help, and that's an easy way to get some commits. Anyway, just saying. So we got a page on, it's called Garrett.html, which is kind of misleading, but we use Garrett. So anyway, if you go in there, if you scroll to the bottom of that page, there's a section on efficient reviewing techniques that I think Rajat may have written. But anyway, it just points out some specific things to look at so that you can review stuff a little bit faster. But what's really helpful to us is that when you leave a +1 or -1, you just say, what did you do, right? Because just a +1 just tells us, hey, I think this patch is okay. And that's great, but it's not really a helpful thing. What we want to do is, you can save us some time. Like if you read through the release note and it it addresses the bug, it's got the right format, that's helpful because then we don't have to do that. You sort of share work. And the other thing is some patches are kind of big. If you don't finish, that's fine. Just leave comments. Just say, I looked at the basic code. It looks okay. I haven't looked at the test yet. And then that way it's sort of helpful to you because to go back. But also it's helpful to the person because they know, okay, maybe I can go look at my unit tests, make sure they're actually covering the stuff. I don't know. Anyway, please say what you're doing. And especially if you want to leave a -1, please be specific to the contributor to let them know exactly what it is that was a problem. And it's another one of those things. You don't have a lot of time to be articulate about it. You can just say something small and just say, I haven't looked at the whole thing, but this one particular thing is something you can fix real fast. And that's kind of helpful too. But anyway, so there are 3 documents. One's the Cinder guide, so that's kind of specific to us. The OpenStack one has some just general things. It's good to just be aware of in case you haven't done a lot of reviewing. And then that helpful thing is, I think Julia Kruger wrote this, but it's how to review stuff the OpenStack way. And so that gives you it goes into more detail than I just did about how to leave +1s, -1s, what kind of information is helpful for the other reviewers. So the thing to remember is you're not just looking at this code for this one person, it's sort of for the overall community. And that's why it's really helpful for drivers to review other driver patches. Not drivers, driver maintainers to review the patches of other drivers, because you've probably run into some stuff, I don't know, handling configuration options or log messages or just weird things that, you've had to fix in your drivers, and you can look for those specific things in other people's drivers. And that's really helpful. So anyway, that's basically it. But that's what we're looking for to be a core reviewer. It's helpful to look at a bunch of stuff, but what you need is kind of a track record of the comments that you've left. So a thoughtful -1 is like really helpful, and a +1 with no comments is, in my opinion, basically worthless. So just review accordingly. But we do need more core reviewers, so we are motivated to encourage people. And if you have questions, we're in IRC usually. I mean, most of us, well, we sort of spread the time zones, and we kind of respond, but most of us are always at the weekly meeting. So that's a place where you can get some kind of feedback. There's always an open discussion. So if you have questions and want to interact with the team members, that's like the best thing to do. And I was going to say something else, but I have forgotten. So anyway. Oh, what I was going to say was, okay, thanks, Rajat. So Rajat's posted, we have the weekly meeting. We should decide if we want to keep this up, because the attendance has been like dropping off. We've had this festival of extra small reviews that Eric came up with the idea for, a long time ago. And for a while we got pretty good attendance. And what happens on those days, it's like the third, well, it's in the schedule. I think it's the third Friday of each month, maybe just a 3-hour period. and we all show up. We're in IRC. You don't have to have your camera on or anything, but the idea is we're sort of all together reviewing stuff. So if you have questions, you can ask people, or if you see something that's weird, you can ask somebody else to take a look. Or if you see something that's good, you can just say, hey, this one's ready, just somebody else take a look at it. And I found that to be helpful. I mean, the problem is, so the good thing is you address these small reviews. The bad thing is we focus on the small ones and not the big ones. But, you got to start somewhere. So I don't know. But my main point is, like, for the last one, I showed up and, it was actually helpful because I got a lot of stuff reviewed. But, it would have been better if other people were reviewing also. So, but, maybe it's time has come and gone as a festival. So
I wonder if there's a consensus. Like I can definitely put some energy into trying to revive and maintain the health of that. If there's agreement that like people can attend and it's useful.
Well, I wonder if it should really still be the extra small thing, or if we should try focusing it on other various review topics. I don't know.
we have like done like driver editions. Like we did one time, we did just backups. A couple of times we've done drivers when the festival happens just before the M3 deadline, when stuff has to be merged, but maybe it's too late at that point. So we could switch it. I mean, driver reviews have been a big issue, so maybe we should just make that the focus of the festival. I mean, the good thing about it is, I think, is that it's a particular time, and well, it's not really a place because we do it virtually, but it's something you can tell your manager, this is an upstream activity, 3 hours once a month, and we can get stuff done. And, the people who show up, we've traditionally allowed you to like nominate patches of yours if you show up and are reviewing other people's stuff. So that's kind of an incentive too. So maybe if we switch it to drivers, the list is going to look, well, maybe we could filter the list somehow. I'll come up with a dashboard that doesn't, the worst thing is to have a dashboard that's got like 5,000 things in it because you don't even know where to start. So if we can narrow it, the nice thing about the extra small ones is they've sort of fit on the page, and we can get them reviewed and merged that same day.
Can you filter on subdirectory? Maybe we could just filter on specific driver subdirectories.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a probably in the Etherpad for the festival reviews. There's a link to I've got the festival board, except that it focuses on drivers, and I'm not sure if it filters by length or anything.
So instead of making it like small reviews or driver reviews, we can make it milestone driven. Like for the second milestone, we have driver reviews. Third milestone, we have feature reviews. Then we have bug reviews until RC1. So depending on the milestone, we can decide like what we want to review.
Yeah, it may also give a place for folks who are asking for review requests, a place to land, which is, I don't think we really have that at the moment, and it sort of just ends up landing in our weekly meetings, which is fine, but I can't generally do anything with it in that time slot. So it's something I have to circle back for. Whereas if we have a meeting, we can actually possibly at least look and get eyes on some of these things, be more efficient in moving them forward. Does that time slot still work for everyone that is potentially interested? Like, is that the best time slot that we can, like, if we're gonna try to put energy into making that work, like, does that still work? Like, is that slot still good for everyone? We can change the title from Festival of Small Reviews to just like Festival of Milestone Reviews or something. But can people make that time slot? Is there a better one that we could get more attendance in?
Are you saying about something throughout this release, like going the next month, every month? We got like a few hours to do that.
Yeah.
Leave it scheduled, something like that.
Yeah, historically, the festival reviews has been like, is it Brian's the last Friday of every month, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's the third Friday, I think.
Third Friday of every month. Okay. Yeah. So it's like third Friday of every month for a couple of hours. Probably somewhere in the 14 or 1500 UTC time frame. This is usually where the overlap seems to work best, but I just thought I'd bring it up. Does anyone have a conflict, or is that still the best time?
Yeah, so currently it's third week. So it's the third Friday of the month, and it's 2 hours. So 1400 to 1600 UTC.
Is it useful to increase the frequency, like first and third Fridays of every month? Or do we want to keep it just once a month? Maybe I'm I don't want to try to be too greedy. But.
Well, it might be. So yeah, if the problem is some people can't make this, but they can make another one, that would make sense to have two.
Yeah, it would knock down the weekly meetings by quite a bit. Like really, because really, I think what mostly we want to talk about are the reviews and how to get over whatever issues are coming up, or whatever CI issues are cropping up, or whatever technical challenge that we need to discuss in order to get a particular patch moving forward. And the weekly meeting is more of a sort of a status update and a lay of the land. I think the festival reviews could be actually a much more useful meeting. All right. So without any objections, then I'm hearing possibly we can increase frequency to every other week, first and third Fridays. Keep the slot the same. See how this goes for Gazpacho.
I wonder if there was a way to create a calendar for these meetings, because I always struggle with like some meetings changing or some time zones. I don't know if we somehow had like a list of people interested on that one, and then we could just add people to that, and those would be like on people's calendar. I mean, I know each one can create its own event, but there's like time zone changes and things like that, which might have changed across the month that goes.
Well, there's a ICS file on that page, so I put a link in the Etherpad, but let me give you it here. So let me see if this helps, because then you can put it on your own calendar. I mean, assuming that this ICS file is correct, but then that would handle all the time zone stuff, so we wouldn't have to.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. So this is. All right, so if we want to go to the first and third Fridays, so next Friday would be the first Friday of November. So, all right, so if you want, I'll take an action item. So I'll rename this to just Cinder Festival Reviews. I'll update the this thing in meetings.opendev.org. I'm pointing at it like you can see it. Sorry. Just so it has the updated ICS file for twice a month, and we'll just see what happens. And then we can another thing it can do is hand over the dashboard hacking to somebody else. But we can figure out how we want to decide the themes. as it comes up. And I think we can just keep the current Etherpad for festival reviews. Should be fine. Okay.
Yeah, I wish we have maybe we can like arbitrary tags and like just assign certain patches to a tag that we can then like reference and create dashboards for.
We could do that. I mean, Garrett lets you do. There's a bunch of stuff in Garrett we don't really take advantage of, but one of them is it's got this hashtags thing that we've never used.
It'd be cool to like, for instance, like if I could go through the review request Etherpad and tag all of those as recently requested, and then we could have a dashboard of all the extra small reviews plus the recently like direct requested reviews, so we can see like what are the things that people are really needing it, you know, as soon as possible.
I was trying to find something like that the other day.
Yeah,
like
so
a tag game, but there's not. At least I couldn't find.
Here, let me show you. Let me share my.
It would be easier if we had a manageable set of total reviews, but I think our total reviews exceed well over 500, just outstanding. So like every dashboard just paginates.
So this is the one that was just at the top of that dashboard I showed. So, all right. So if you do show all, this hashtag thing pops up. So
I wasn't showing that for me.
I don't know, something.
Okay, and we can sort on that.
I think what I can do is I can do the dashboard and tell it. I'll take an action item to look at this after the meeting. So
okay.
So yeah, so don't wait till tomorrow to start tagging everything. Let me make sure this actually works. But I think we can do that. We don't have any control over who puts those tags on there, though.
Yeah, they're like once it's going to default into, everyone is going to immediately hashtag every patch they submit with this, so that it gets into the list. And we're going to be at the same problem, which is the default list is large, and now how to,
well, what we could do is the day before the festival, you could assign like a UUID to the patches you want to look at, and then we could filter on those, and it would only be good for that one festival. I don't know. That's kind of stupid.
I mean, it could work out. yeah. I mean, we can just give it a try. You know, if it looks like folks are just adding that by default, I can just call that out.
Stop it. Yeah.
So
it looks like. So I'm sorry. I was just going to say. So it looks like. So I'm not even associated with this patch at all, and I was able to add that hashtag. So that's good. Because for some of the things, like for the topic, I think you might have to be the owner or be a core. Oh, it could be. Yeah, I don't know what the privileges are.
So what's the difference between the topic and the hashtag?
So the topic.
It's something you can, the get review command line, you can say, submit this with this topic, or I think it'll even set that if you name your
sometimes
branch.
Just uses the branch name.
Yeah.
So I think they only, it's probably just query it differently.
Why you can have one tag.
Sorry, Eric, I didn't.
Well, one difference is you can have more than one hashtag. But I mean, topics are usually used by the submitter to keep track of, you know, related items. We don't really want to be changing that for this purpose.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So indeed, while you do a bunch of changes, like series of changes, it's really easier to use topic because, as you said, it's using branch. So you do check out to branch and you do git review -f, like -f, that also removed branch from your like local Git repository and it's applied it as a topic. So it's kind of neat.
Okay, so that might be one way to manage this in a way that's you can actually move us forward with less noise and not make this unruly. Looks like certainly something to give a try for this release. We'll see if that can help, and then we can evaluate it in the next one of these, or at the mid cycle. See how it's going. One thought I also had, it would be really nice to be able to give like a partial review sometimes. Like there's large reviews where I don't have time to go through the whole thing, in that like in whatever time I don't have time to go through the entire thing and give like a definitive like +1 or -1, but I can check a few of a subset of those things, and I can weigh in on how that went. It'd be nice to be able to give some feedback quickly, so that like patches get some sort of feedback or movement within a short period of time from submission, instead of just I can imagine that it's very frustrating to submit a patch and then have just weeks go by and it's just crickets. I know that's frustrating, and it makes people wonder, like, do they see the patch? Like, what's happening? And that I think this possibly is part of what's driving the review requests and having all those come in and in the meetings and in the Etherpads and then the direct messages and all of these things. Like it's just a not knowing, like, if your patch is being seen or not, and worrying that it may not make the release. Like, I don't know if there's something we could do to get some initial feedback, even if it were partial, like some sort of qualified +1 or -1. Like I'm +1, but only on a subset of things. So other people can come along and maybe, I don't know. I'm just thinking through that, because at the moment I hesitate to like give a +1 or +2 unless I'm fairly certain that I've checked everything and like it's a complete, like a full, there is no like like a partial version of it that I'm aware of. I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. How do y'all think about that? Is there something I could be missing?
So what is the difference for you between +1 and +2 then?
So I guess this might differ for people. For like everyone may have a different definition of this. For me, I'll give a +1 on something if it looks fine, but it's in an area of the code that I don't feel super confident in, like where I feel like there's a reasonable chance that I could miss something important because I'm not super familiar with like that particular thing. Like if it's something API related, it passes everything I know about APIs, but I don't consider myself to know as much as some others about things that change the API. So I'll give a +1 as sort of I think it's okay, but someone else with more experience in that area should weigh in. That's how I look at it. And is that I don't know, what's
well, I do. I mean, I do similar things like that, where if I want to +1 it to say the overall idea looks good, but maybe I didn't actually review it to the extent that I would say this is ready to merge. I mean, I'll use +1 like that to say, positive on it, but other people need to look at it more than I did.
I've used it for a case where the vendor driver features, when the code and test everything looks good, but the CI is not there, like not running or not passing. So I just leave a +1 saying like, when third-party CI passes, then you can come back and I will change my vote.
So kind of to what I hear, like Rajat and Eric say, like kind of sometimes use as +1 as like partial review. So it's probably good, but probably like, yeah, it needs some work anyway. And also, I think I personally use also like +1 as something, okay, I'm not that confident about, I need to think about it, but generally, like, it sounds sane at the very least. But even if you don't feel comfortable with +1 and like with setting any vote, I think like giving a comment, just simple reply without any vote that, okay, well, I think the idea is good. I will check on this later. For contributor will be kind of enough, I guess, to not feel awkward about the patch.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. You could review part of it and just leave a neutral review, or no plus, no minus, and say I'll pick up the rest of it later or something. I think there's even a feature in Garrett where you can mark certain files as reviewed, but I don't know if that's per person.
Yes, it is per person, and it marks it automatically once you open it. So you need to be very organized. So if you look through all files, you need to be very organized to like unmark something as reviewed, which is not really, I would consider.
Yeah, fair enough.
Also, generally, like the neutral votes, if I have some comments, but I don't want to -1 it, then sometimes they are not addressed because, no vote is visible. So sometimes people just don't look at the comments. So I leave some comments that these are just nitpicks that you can address and leave a +1 with that. So, yeah, as John said, like everyone has their own cases where they use these kind of, but just don't want to indicate to the second reviewer that it is ready to merge. That's why +1 is preferred for me in some patches than +2.
So if you leave a comment and the contributor doesn't read through it, it's problem of contributor, I would consider, because you give a feedback and it's now ball on their side more or less. I personally very frequently miss such comments or reviews, but I never feel frustrated about it because it's like my fault that I'm not following all of them. But it's worse than like it's been that when patch lane like for like 3 or 4 months without any comment on it at all.
Yeah, it could be on both sides, like they didn't see it or it was not visible at all. But yeah, I just found out this case where I +1 it, then people tend to notice it more than without any comment. So that's why I used it like this.
I think that's helpful. I think we've captured at least some thoughts and some general mindsets and approaches to reviews, how core works, how to move towards becoming one. Hopefully there are some folks interested, and I'm happy to help facilitate that. It looks like we're going to try to rework our festival reviews a bit, and increase the frequency and try to get more out of those. I think that will be helpful. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to ask, is there, what's the preferred method of communicating with you? And I just asked because I am interested in becoming a core at least some point, but I don't know if I should ping you on IRC because that seems rude, maybe. I don't know. or do I email you, or you know what I mean?
It's a totally fair question. I guess everyone's different with IRC. IRC is the most direct. That for me, everyone's different. Everyone uses IRC differently, but the way I use it, that's the most direct way for me personally. If you send me a message, I will.
Like a query, basically.
What's that?
like a direct message or just in the main chat? Okay.
Just slash query and then
Yeah,
the
yeah.
thing. I can't always get to them, so I let them sit until I can get to them, but I don't delete them until I get to them.
All right.
Yeah, that's the most direct way because it's not subjected to all of the like if you email me, that works too, but it goes into a much bigger bin with a lot more noise, and I process that list less frequently because it's quite vast. So IRC is a far more surgical, like for project specific things.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So we have in 3 minutes, we have the across project event list session. I have put the list, the links to the Etherpad and also the Meetpad link in the agenda at the top of the Etherpad. I don't know if they're going to use that entire session, but that's what is scheduled. So we will break for the next 60 minutes for that, for those that are interested in attending that. And if not, then you get a break. And then when we come back, we can try to, I thought it would be most appropriate, I guess once it's out on everyone's mind, to try to work through the current state of Eventlet for us and what technical challenges are needing to be solved in order to get this across the finish line. Because I think the time is running out now. So that's where we're at. I'll see everyone back here in an hour. Let me know if you can't find the Eventlet session or the Meetpad. I don't know if there's something isn't working. Let me know. I can try to dig up more info. I'm gonna stop recording as soon as I figure out how to do that. Yeah, there we go.